Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic. Can you guys hear me? You know what? I'm going to come out of this other room because I think it's messing me up. Okay. I think that was messing me up a little bit. You can hear me great. I was on something else at the same time, and I think it was messing up my audio because I can't hear a thing, which is not a good thing. So, but if you can hear me, it's all good in the hood. I'm just going to double check some things while we're on here and turn it up. Let's see. There we go. All right. I should be able to hear a little bit better now. Okay, cool. All right. So anyway, hello. Welcome. This is the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. You have tuned into episode 154. This is the end of Black History Month. I have a lot of things to show you. I'm going to scratch some things from the schedule today because I am simultaneously covering the Golden Globes and this at the same time. So I'm going to scratch my review of Night of Kings. I'm going to scratch SpongeBob. I'm going to scratch Raya and the Last Dragon and pull them over for next week is what I'm going to do. So that's that. Let me tell you what my week was like. I always do that. But before I get into that, let me just say that this is what we do here. I review films and I talk to people above and below the line in the film industry. And lately, it's been a lot of A-listers, as you will be able to see later on with Mr. The Eddie Murphy. I'm so excited. I can't even stand myself. Insty-hoo. I was just so excited. It's like, yay, it's the Eddie Murphy. Anywho, so let me talk about what my week was like. This, like I said, is the last day of Black History Month. And I went to a virtual premiere for the United States versus Billie Holiday. I played my interview with Andra Day last week where she spoke about crowd surfing as Billie Holiday, and she spoke about how Lee Daniels didn't necessarily want her for the role. She didn't necessarily want to play the role, but she ended up playing the role. And I'm telling y'all right now, she's probably going to turn around and win the Academy Award for it. So I'm there for all of that. Tony Vincent, yo, what is up? I can't even believe you are in the room right now. Y'all, Tony Vincent is on the line, and he and I did a Broadway show together back in the day after his MTV VJ days. And now he's like this big fancy designer. Welcome, Michael B. Welcome, Dolores Leach. And welcome, Brandon. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to cover what I said I was going to cover for you, Brandon. But, you know, I had to do what I had to do. But, you know, I got you covered next week. So we'll get into that. But I saw the movie, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I went to the virtual premiere with my mother. They sent me gardenias. They sent me a real transistor radio that's operated by Bluetooth. They sent me a microphone, like a real working microphone, like the one that's in the Billie Holiday movie. I cannot wait to sing on that bad boy. It is gorgeous. I know, Michael B., I know you said you tried to watch it and you couldn't get through it. I know, but I think I'm going to change your mind and have you watch it again because I felt the same way the first time I saw it. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So we did that. I also shot my very last episode of Superstore. So sad. Oh my God, I was so sad that I shot my very last episode of Superstore. There's a couple of more episodes that are going to air live, but not live. They're going to air in a few minutes, but the last shooting day is actually today. I wasn't scheduled to shoot today. I shot my last scene yesterday, and it's bittersweet, but you know what? All good things come to an end. It's been a great ride over at Cloud9, and I'm looking forward to what's coming next. I also taped an episode a couple of weeks ago specifically for Black History Month for something called Boxed Lunch. And you can find it streaming on YouTube. We talked about Black film from a pop perspective, and it was myself, Wilson Morales, and a young man named Elijah, and it's hosted by Albert Lawrence, one of my good friends. So go over to YouTube at Box Lunch and check that out. It's a really great conversation. We talk about a lot of things, and I in particular drop a lot of film history in the process of that. And then next week, I will be attending the Black Women Film Summit. It's a summit specifically for Black women that are in film. It's going to happen all day on March 6th. So I'll tell you guys all about it when we come back. And I also want to tell my people that are watching in Los Angeles that today is the beginning of the Pan-African Film Festival. I usually go to that, like I go to all film festivals in person. But of course, due to the pandemic, that is no longer possible. So it is happening. I'm so excited. It's going on now through March 14th. They usually show a lot of very Afrocentric films from all over the world, Caribbean, Africa, the islands, everywhere. And the films are usually really, really educational. I like their documentaries in particular. So there's that going on. So before we get into Billie Eilish reviews, the United States versus Billie Holiday, and a concerto is a conversation, let's take a trip around the curve. Hollywood Foreign Press Association has been getting it up from all sides leading up to the Golden Globes tonight. First, they paid nearly $2 million to its members working on internal committees, according to the LA Times, and then they were battered and called out by Hollywood heavyweights for its lack of diversity, which the HFPA promised to address during tonight's ceremony. Anyone need a doctor? Angela Bassett has been bestowed with a doctorate from Yale. That's right, call her Dr. Bassett. White voice actor Harry Shearer will no longer be playing Dr. Hibbert on The Simpsons and is being replaced by Kevin Michael Richardson. Skyhorse Publishing is seriously contemplating a copyright infringement lawsuit against HBO Max and filmmakers for Allen vs. Farrell for unauthorized use of audio from Allen's 2020 memoir, Apropos of Nothing. Focus Features has picked up worldwide rights to The Sparks Brothers, the documentary from director Edgar Wright about the enigmatic and influential Los Angeles pop duo Sparks. Amazon Studios has acquired the worldwide rights to the documentary Mayor Pete, which follows Buttigieg on the campaign trail. Norman Lear is getting into business with IMDb TV with a project with Laverne Cox and George Wallace called Clean Slate. Ruth E. Carter is a legendary costume designer, but now she has her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Coming to America designer is only the second person to receive that honor. Ta-Nehisi Coates has been tapped to write the script for a new Superman film. DC and Warner Brothers. Barry Jenkins is producing All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt with Raven Jackson, and Angel Manuel Soto is set to direct Blue Beetle for DC Films. America Ferrera is making her directorial debut for Netflix in I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, and the third Spider-Man between Sony and Disney is now going to be called Spider-Man No Way Home. Spike Lee is producing the next film for Stefan Bristol. On Netflix, Julia Roberts and Sean Penn are teaming up as Martha and John Mitchell for Front Watergate drama Gaslit. The Russo brothers are teaming up with Spotify. And this week on The Curvy Critic, I have Tim Story's interview, a review of Billie Eilish, A World's Little Glory, Chris Bowers, A Concerto is a Conversation, and the cast members Tracy Morgan, Jermaine Fowler, Arsenio Hall, and Eddie Murphy from Coming to America, the sequel to the big hit. Stay tuned. All right. And we are back from around the curve. There was a whole lot more news to get, but I just kind of like gave you the bare bones. I'll put another one up at some point during the week to give you the rest of the news that I got, or maybe I'll just do a midweek news item because the Golden Globes are happening. So they're getting into, I believe, the best supporting categories right now, and they're about to announce that winner in 2 seconds. So I'll stop whatever I'm doing and let you know who that winner is and what category it is. Everybody looks really pretty. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are hosting. They are 6 feet apart on the stage at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. And is the Beverly Hilton? Yeah, the Beverly Hilton Hotel. And there's a few people in the audience with masks on and gowns and everything. So it just looks really weird to have like a smattering of people in the audience as opposed to what they usually have throughout the usual award season. All right, so let's get into this Billie Eilish documentary. The first time I ever heard about Billie Eilish is when she won all those Grammys. She won in all the top categories, right? The top 4 categories. And I think she was nominated for 6. And she swept the Grammys that night. And I remember watching that thinking, who is this little white girl? And why is she winning everything? I have never heard of her. Who is she? And why is she beating Lizzo? Yeah, I said it. But after this documentary, I got to tell you, Billie Eilish got a new fan because RJ Cutler, who also directed another Apple TV Plus documentary called Dear dot dot dot. He is a master at showing you the heart and the soul of the subjects of his documentaries. This child is 18 years old. She is a freaking musical genius. And she literally has become that person that is trying to navigate being a teenager. As a teenager, there are days you don't want to get out of the bed. There are days you don't want somebody to take a picture with you. There are days you just don't want to be bothered. There are days you just don't. And imagine having all of that and your hormones all out of sorts as a teenager, being a superstar, having all these Grammys, and then trying to navigate a relationship with a boy, trying to navigate your family. I got to tell you, if it were not for this young lady's family, I honestly don't think she would have been able to navigate stardom. She probably would have tried to hurt herself or something crazy would have happened to her. But I have to tell you, her family is the reason that she's here. Her artistry is off the chain. She is like a musical Svengali, for lack of a better way to say it. And I thoroughly enjoyed this documentary by RJ Cutler. It is just now streaming on Apple TV Plus. If you have not seen it, do yourselves a favor and check it out, because it is everything. Everything. And that's all I have to say about the Billie Eilish doc. This just in, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah just won supporting actor at the Golden Globes. Again, Daniel Kaluuya just won supporting actor for his portrayal of Chairman Fred Hampton in Judas and the Black Messiah. The United States versus Billie Holiday. That's my next review. Now, I know that Michael B. can't wait to hear what I got to say about this. This is what I have to say about that. Hey, Kenneth Williams, how you doing? How do you interview the winners? Oh, you want to know how I interview the winners before I start talking about Billie Holiday? I'm simultaneously on a Zoom link. So when I hop off with y'all, I'm going to go and interview the winners virtually, and I will record it, and I'll have excerpts of that here next week. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing Daniel Kaluuya because I'm talking to y'all. But at anywho, the United States versus Billie Holiday. It's not Lady Sings the Blues. It's not the fantasized, romanticized version of the Billie Holiday story as we know it through the eyes of Berry Gordy and Diana Ross. Andra Day is the third person to take on this role. Audra McDonald did it on stage. Diana Ross obviously did it in the 70s with Lady Sings the Blues, and now Andra Day. I'm getting ready to tell y'all Andra Day about to win that Oscar, because what she does with Billie Holiday is short of miraculous. She's never been an actor. She's never acted in a project before. This is her feature film debut. The film is uncomfortable to watch. It's a little disjointed in some places, but it's directed by Lee Daniels, and Lee Daniels thrives in that lane. He always directs projects that make you uncomfortable. He's uncompromising, and his projects are unconventional. So having said that, I would suggest, if you have seen the film, go back and take a look at it again, because I promise you, you will enjoy it more the second time around. I saw it 3 times, and each time that I saw it, I found different things about it to like. Is the story all over the place? Yeah, it is a little bit, but you forget about all of that. This is the thing. The only reason you need to see that movie is for Andra Day, period. That's all I have to say about it. And last but not least, Chris Bowers is a name that you know, being associated with, what is the, you know Chris Bowers from being associated with the When They See Us project on Netflix. He is a young and up and coming composer. He is the bomb. He does everything so well. But he has done a short film that's 13 minutes long. It's called A Concerto is a Conversation. And he literally does a conversation with his grandfather, who owns a cleaners here in Los Angeles. And he sits down with his grandfather, and they go back through his journey, and they talk about how he got to this place in his life. His grandfather virtually acted as his manager. It's so cute. But when I tell you, I was in the ugly cry at the end of those 13 minutes. I have not seen a documentary, a short film documentary, that heartwarming and touching since I watched Dear Basketball from Kobe Bryant. So you guys, again, A Concerto is a conversation. Check that out. Check out Billie Eilish, The World is a Little Blurry. And please check out The United States versus Billie Holiday. Now, last week I talked about Tom and Jerry and I reviewed it, but I didn't have my interview ready with Tim's story then, but I got it for you now. So take a look and a listen to this interview with the director of Tom and Jerry at Warner Brothers, Mr. Tim Story. Hi, Tim. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you. Here we are.
I know. Here we are. Last time I spoke to you, you were telling me about Tom and Jerry. So I'm glad we're having a full circle moment.
Absolutely. It is completed, ready to be seen.
I know, right? And I have seen it and it is fantabulous. It keeps the energy and the spirit of the Tom and Jerry franchise, which I was way excited about. But I want to ask you, yes, of course. I want to ask you one question. The scene, the engagement party scene, I am fascinated with how long it took to prep and shoot that, because it looked like it probably took a couple of months or longer.
Hey, you just said it. I would probably say we started in November of 2018, didn't shoot it until probably I want to say July or something like that. It was a lot of prep. We knew, you have to figure out with these type of movies, these hybrid movies with animated characters, you have to figure out what they're going to do and everything they're going to do beforehand. And then you have to rig this entire room, not only build it, have multiples of things like cakes and all of this other stuff. So we had a lot of prep work to get to to what you saw.
It was worth it, because I was like, how are they doing this? I was fascinated. I was like this the whole time. Are you guys paying? I thought I peeped a couple of like old Tom and Jerry episodes that you guys are paying homage to throughout the film. Am I wrong in that assessment?
No, a few. Yeah. There's moments like when he punches Tom in the eye. I mean, there's a lot of little moments that I just continue to go back and pull from. It's always great when you have a film that has this much material that you can just, anytime you get creatively stuck, you got somewhere to go. And so that's what Tom and Jerry, allow for us to do.
What was the very first memory you have of seeing Tom and Jerry?
I just remember coming home from school, sitting in front of my TV, and it was one of those, I'm gonna date myself, one of those old TVs that looks like furniture, but it's the tube TVs. And once you turned it on and wait for it to warm up and it came on, you would watch Tom and Jerry, and I would make myself some type of lunch, I don't know what it was, and sit there and watch it for at least an hour. And I just loved this cartoon, grew up on it, and it's a little bit of a dream come true that I didn't even know I had. So it's amazing.
And how was it filming this with COVID restrictions? Because a lot of productions are shooting or have been shooting throughout this past year that we've been dealing with it. But I wouldn't imagine that shooting an animation live action piece would have that many restrictions. Am I wrong?
Well, we were lucky in the sense that we finished shooting before COVID hit. And I like to say we were shooting BC before COVID. And, we were probably halfway through post when we had to kind of shut down, everybody go into a remote situation. And the great thing about that is our relationships with all the technical people, as well as myself and the producer and so forth and so on. We already had kind of a shorthand. So I must admit, we got through it fairly what's the word for it? I won't say unchallenged, because all of these projects are hard to make. But it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so you weren't as challenged. You know what, Tim Story, I thank you for keeping your word and circling back around to me to talk about Tom and Jerry, because you knew how 100%. Excited I was when we spoke before.
So 100%.
I appreciate you. I really do. And congratulations. It's just wonderful.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you had a great time in it.
I did. I had a great time. Thank you so much.
You got it. We'll speak again.
I hope so.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
I love Tim's story. You gotta love a filmmaker that keeps their word. So again, you guys can check out Tom and Jerry on HBO Max. It is streaming right now. Now we're going to get into Coming to America. It comes out on March 5th on Amazon Prime Video. It stars Arsenio Hall, Jermaine Fowler, Bella Murphy, Kiki Lane, Kylie Love, Nonzamo Umbata, Tracy Morgan, Sherry Headley, Lunell. The list goes on and on and on and on. And of course, Mr. Eddie Murphy. But right now, I'm going to play this interview with his daughter, Bella Murphy, who also plays one of his daughters in the movie. And side note, she had to audition for this. Her father did not just give her that role. He made her audition and work for the role. And she does a really good job. She's gorgeous, looking just like her mama. But I talked to the young ladies about the first time they saw Coming to America and that fight scene that they had. That is everything. Here we go with Bella Murphy, and a Kylie Love.
Great. How are you?
You look beautiful, honey. I wore a crown because I'm in the midst of royalty. So that's how I'm doing today. Yes. That is how I'm doing today. Now, I know both of y'all are ridiculously young. So I want to know what it was like for you the very first time you saw the original Coming to America. I'll start with a Kylie first.
Yeah, I've actually watched the movie plenty of times before I even got the audition for this movie. Every time it comes on the TV, I'm watching it with my mom, and it is hilarious. I love watching the movie, especially when they go to the barber shop and they're calling him Mufasa. That part always gets me. And when they leave all their stuff outside of that apartment and everybody steals it and is like walking back up to them trying to resell it, the movie is hilarious. I love it.
How about you, Bella?
Yeah, it's very funny. I think I watched it when I was either 10 or 11. And yeah, it's timeless. It's always funny. And I think my favorite part is Randy Watson.
That's my favorite too. Sexual Chocolate. Yes.
He's amazing. I love it.
Thank you. Drop the mic. And just no applause, none, not even a titter of it. Oh, before we move forward, I wanted to congratulate you on your graduation. So congratulations on graduating during COVID, girl. That's something to be proud of.
Yes, it is.
I'll start with you, Bella, this time. What was your favorite day of shooting out of the whole time you guys were putting this together?
There was a scene or I think the fight scenes had to have been my favorite, just because they felt so cool to do, and you just felt like a superhero when you were doing it. It was really awesome. I was like, I'm on my Wakanda stuff right now, you know?
So, all right, girl, you're gonna be the next Black superhero. I'm gonna put that out there.
Please do.
You like, I'm all about it. How about you, Kylie?
Yeah, I felt the same way, you know, especially with those battle cries. It took a lot out of me because I'm very soft-spoken. So when I had to scream, I got into that. And just like Bella said, every time I was doing that kind of stuff, I couldn't stop thinking about the Black Panther movie and how they always had these amazing fight scenes. It was so much fun to do. And weird enough as it is to say, I think that leaving would probably be my favorite day, because just seeing how everybody was like a family on set and how it pained everybody to leave, especially me. I was crying in the car the whole ride home, and it made me realize how much I really like acting. I really want to keep doing this, and I didn't want the movie to end.
That's so sweet. I love that you said that. Aw. Oh, that kind of caught me off guard. I'm a little verklempt now. Let me get it together. Okay. All right. So what would you say is your favorite romantic comedy, Bella?
Ooh, probably Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I love that movie. It is hilarious. I love it.
The Mulan movie, I loved a lot of that stuff. Again, the bow staff fighting, she was fighting with the stick. I really like the fighting scenes in the Mulan.
I see you got a theme going on. You kind of like girls fighting and holding their own. Is that right? Is that right for both of y'all?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time. You guys were great in the movie. I loved you in it. I'm looking forward to many more things from you moving in the future. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye. How cute are they? They are little nuggets. And this junket was like one of their first interviews. It's always so hard to interview kids because you never know what's going to resonate with them. But I'm glad that I found something to resonate with them. Congratulations again to Bella on her graduation and her first feature film with her dad. And congratulations to Miss Kylie as well. Next up, we got Jermaine Fowler and Nzamo Ubata. So they play romantic interest in the film, and Jermaine plays Lavelle Johnson, who is Eddie Murphy's son after 30 years in Coming to America. So he goes back to America to find him, brings him back to Samunda, and shenanigans ensue. But listen to what we talked about a little romance stuff too. So take a look and a listen to this interview with Jermaine and Nzamo. before we had Wakanda, we had Zamunda. So
That
what? Okay, can we just acknowledge that?
Yes,
So
we
what
can.
was it like the first time y'all ever saw Coming to America?
I mean, how often do you get to see black fairy tales at that time? You know, you don't, and one taken as seriously as you would a white fairy tale. You know, with
Right.
the main character. So that was cool to see, and you don't even think about it. It's a great movie. You know, it's top 3 to me. When I first saw it, I was born when it came out, so when I first saw it, I was a little kid. I snuck and saw it, and it just spoke to me comedically. Everything about it was just funny. But then I got older and I started to appreciate some of the more emotional scenes and the more dramatic scenes with Eddie and James Earl Jones and John Amos. Like all those scenes were very just as important as the comedy. So that movie it just stands a test of time. It's a classic.
Every single thing that Jermaine said, 100%. I think also for me, you know, one of the things that was also very funny was when I got to my teenage stage, because I watched it obviously, you know, growing up. But when I got to be a teenager, I was laughing. I was like, okay, so this is how they think Africans are. Okay.
Oh. You like, let me fix that real quick.
Hold up and hold my earrings.
I think, you know what? I think what the movie tries to do and really does well was to just show Black people in their most royal, most regal and beautiful selves in the reimagined of African culture.
What is your idea of romance and what is your favorite rom-com? I'll start with ladies first, Danzamo.
Hi, Bo, Carla. Hi, Bo. Why me first?
Because you a lady, girl. You a queen. I got my crown on for you. Okay. Go ahead, take it away. Come on now.
All right. Love Jones.
I kind of love you.
Romance. It is charm. It is truth. It is humor.
It is. Okay, Jermaine, you got to follow up Love Jones. What you got for me?
Okay. Well, my idea of romance is I just want to hang out with somebody I can just watch TV with in my pajamas. Like, that's it. That's somebody I can be comfortable with. That's it. You know what I mean? Just be myself. To me, that's true romance to me. As far as movies go, I'm a guy, so the rom part of rom-coms means nothing to me. The com part means a lot to me. I like a good comedy, so like I'm gonna say, I mean, I have to put Coming to America up there, but like to me, it's just a good film. As far as genre go, like it's just its own category.
Yes.
There's something about Mary's always up there with me. Like I've always laughed at that movie.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like.
He likes horror. He likes horror. His favorite film of all time is Sleepy Hollow.
I like Bloods and Guts. I like that.
Ooh, okay. We're going to segue from that into my last question. What was it like for you guys to work with Eddie? He's a comedy icon. This is his franchise. It was one of the more popular movies that he did early in his career. I want you to just sum it up in like one word, what that experience was for you, Jermaine.
Truly just dreamlike. You know, there are moments when we were on set, me and Amzamo, and we would just sort of be in awe of just him at work, how he would just orchestrate particular lines and like his character, and also get back into character 32 years later. What the F? That's just no one does that. No one can do that. No one does that. Eddie's different. He's a different species, man. So watching him get back to work like it wasn't 32 years later, beautiful to see. And his enthusiasm for what he does is just infectious. He inspires me to want to just continue to do this until the wheels fall off. The man hasn't missed a beat, hasn't missed a step, and it's truly like a hero, man, a true hero. And I'm honored to be working with him.
I'm gonna give you a pass. You know that was more than one word, right?
No, how can you do it? How can you do it in one word?
I'll call you out on that one, but okay.
I said dream-like. I said dream.
It's so funny.
All right.
I'll say it is working with him was earth real. And then to describe Eddie Murphy, I would say Eddie Murphy is the epitome of Black Hollywood in its most excellent.
And that is a great way to end. Thank you, my beautiful brother and sister. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. The film was thebomb.com. I'm looking forward to great things coming from both of you. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Have a good one.
They were funny. They were funny down. I enjoyed them, especially Nanzamo. She was like, "Aibo, Kala, Aibo." I'm like, I kind of love you for that. But look for them in Coming to America. Okay, next up, we got my boy Tracy Morgan. Y'all know him from a variety of things, but we mostly know him from being funny and a stand-up comedian and on SNL, right? Let me tell you something. He's actually a little more serious when you interview him. I know you love Eddie Murphy as Donkey in Shrek. Everybody does. Everybody does. And then Michael B, you said you loved him as Mushu. Everybody does. Everybody does. And no, Dolores B, there isn't anything that Eddie Murphy can't do. He's everything. I love him. But like Michael B said, Pluto Nash, that's a whole nother story. Anywho, let me update you on the winners. So John Boyega won for Small Axe, the docuseries given to us by Steve McQueen that is streaming on Amazon Prime. Daniel Kaluuya had won earlier in the evening for Judas and the Black Messiah. Catherine O'Hara won for Schitt's Creek. Motion Picture Animated went to Soul, and Motion Picture Drama, I didn't see. I missed that one for some reason because I was paying attention to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association members coming out and addressing these issues that I mentioned in Around the Curve about them not having any foreign press members of color. So I will circle back around to that later on in the week. But in the meantime, take a look and a listen to this interview that I did with Tracy Morgan where he may be straightened out by crowd. It's hilarious. Check it out. I wanted to find out from you, there's this line that Simi says where he says, where in New York can you find a woman with grace, elegance, taste, and culture, a woman suitable for a king? What would be your answer to that question?
Look, but I know where I'm gonna look. I'm going to the supermarket.
Oh, to the soup. Okay, so tell me about that. What's at the supermarket?
She in the supermarket, she like to cook. She cook. And the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The way to a woman's heart is through her smile and her, through her laughter.
Look at you. I did not know you were such a romantic, Tracy Morgan.
You cook lasagna with 6 different cheeses. I'm coming home.
All right. And there you have that.
I might stay out all night at the strip club. I'm coming.
You are crazy as hell. Listen here. What was it like for you to be an SNL alum all these years and finally get your shot to work with Eddie Murphy and Leslie, all 3 of y'all on one set?
Yeah, we at some point we looked at it. At some point me and her and him stood together. We looked at it. Me and her looked at him. We looked at him for guidance, and everyone in the first cast, we looked to them for guidance. We looked to them for assurance, for applaud. We looked to them for approval for the first cast, because you knew coming into this, you don't want to drop the ball.
Right.
And under their gaze, we tried to follow their expectations. And when we met those expectations, we looked to them, and in their gaze, we got this.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love Black people working together and being all like positive and supportive. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Working with something like this, you have to transcend it just being Black. And you have to delve into love. Because the movie is about love.
It is. It is. It's a rom-com. It's a rom-com for us.
Just like The Last OG.
Yes, absolutely.
We have to be black actors, but the show's about the struggle. And I don't care who you are. You can own Amazon. The struggle's real. Every one of us on this planet need a reason to get out of bed in the morning. What's yours? Struggle.
What's yours?
My kids. Period. My kids.
I love that, brother. It's good to see you. I'm glad that you have made it through everything and you still with us and still giving us those comedy gems and that wisdom that you carry with you in every lane of your life. It has been my immense pleasure to talk to you. I've wanted to have this moment for quite some time. So I got my crown on, baby. I'm ready for you.
You know who that is? Look at this.
Rumble Youngblood. Yes. Rumble Young Man Rumble.
That's Muhammad Ali's whole life.
Muhammad Ali. Yes, a champ.
Yep.
You don't know Muhammad.
He's a great man who happens to box. Before I'm a funny man, I'd rather be a good man.
You are a good man. You're actually a great man.
Thank you.
You are a great man. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so, so very much.
Thank you, baby.
I appreciate you. I'll see you the next time.
Crown.
Huh?
That crown out.
Is that better?
Thank you. Keep your crown straight.
All right, brother.
Rock it later.
Thank you. I will never have on a crooked crown ever again after Tracy Morgan read me like that. He a deep brother. I was not prepared. I was not prepared for the deepness that comes in the form of Tracy Morgan. But I look forward to speaking with him the next time. And the next time I'll be prepared for that because, ooh, honey, he took me off guard. I know y'all can tell. I was like, well, okay. All righty then. Let's go. I'm going to go wherever you taking me. So there's that. And now the interview that y'all have all been waiting for, that you have been tuning in for, the interview between Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. But before we get to it, let me just give you this little side note. After I did this interview, Arsenio Hall sent me this picture. We have a picture of him as the man in the barbershop from 30 years ago when they did it, and the one from now. I'm just setting it up now because I'm telling you, when we finish the interview, I'm going to show it because it's going to go right in line with what I say in the interview. And he sent me a note the next day thanking me for interviewing him. And I gagged a little bit because it's Arsenio Hall, who makes a living as a talk show host. So I was very honored and humbled by that. But take a look and a listen to this interview with my boys, Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy from Coming to America.
Hey, Curvy Film Critic.
Hey, Eddie Murphy. Hey, Arsenio Hall. How y'all doing?
I love that.
Thank you, baby. I love it too. It's been 30 years, y'all, and y'all have not skipped a beat. What was that like for you to pick up these characters after all that time? I'll start with Arsenio first.
It was like riding a bike. They always use that cliche. It was like riding a bike. When I'm standing next to Eddie, I know who Simi is.
Look at that. And you talking about the wonderful Ruthie Carter, yes?
Oh my God. Such a genius. So
we
magical.
love Miss Ruth. How about you, Eddie?
Yeah, that's kind of what's easy. For me, it's easy to do stuff like I can just turn it on and turn, like I went back to Saturday Night Live after 36 years, and it was just like, it was just like right before the last time I was there. I just fall right back in.
Wow.
Lucky.
So, my favorite scenes in the show are the scenes with both of y'all as the men in the barbershop. And I'm just going to put it out there. Y'all were like the Benjamin Buttons of the Black people of Zamunda. Because the brothers in the barbershop ain't aged 30 years. I'm just saying.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. If you watch
in
the original Coming to America, they're in their late 50s, and now they're in their late 80s.
Dude, they look like they was the same age. I'm like, okay, they got Benjamin Buttons happening.
They look much older. They look much older. Randy Watson looks older.
Randy Watson looked older, but the brothers in the barbershop looked a little.
When you watch it, you're gonna be like, watch the
okay, I'm gonna watch it again.
Like, whoa,
I'm gonna watch it again.
Our skin looks tight and everything in the first movie.
Not our skin looks tight.
Yeah, we like yeah.
You guys seem to always reach back to the up and coming comedians and the people that are current right now, and you hook them up with your projects. How important is it for you to reach back to that comedy community and give them their flowers while they're all still here? You've done it with Red Fox. You've done it with Richard Pryor. You're doing it now with Lunel. How important is that for you guys to do that? Because I enjoy it very much.
Yes, that's why I've always done that. In my movies, I always put, from the ones in front of me and the ones behind me, I make the connection, whatever that, try to connect it.
Arsenio, how important is it for you to reach back to the young comedic talents of today and, give them a thumbs up or a little push forward?
Not only the young comedians, but, and even with my talk show, I had an intern program. My first intern was John Singleton. I think you got to judge people by how they left a business and not how they arrived in it. And it's so important, for us to put people in the mix, put them on your show, put them in whatever you're doing, writers and all kinds of people that I look back and I say, I remember breaking his single. Rappers, you know, it's really important to not just paper yourself up, but somehow shine the light on the people around you.
Well, you
This
know
movie
what?
also was the first movie ever that has Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones in it. It's the first movie ever.
I peeped that. That was going to be my
Yeah.
next thing.
And we have more comedians. We have comics. There's so many. Lunel, Michael Blackson, Trevor Noah, Leslie Jones, Jermaine Fowler,
Tracy Morgan,
and Arsenio, Louis Anderson, myself. There's so many comics in this movie.
I love that y'all.
Carla, that's a hell of a stand-up comedy tour. If we take the comedians we worked with, Eddie, if we go on the road,
go on road and take all the comedians from Coming to America, and we can call the tour Coming All Over America.
Now that's a tour I want to see. I adore y'all. I've been a fan for a very long time. It has been my immense pleasure to speak to you today. I wore my crown in honor of royalty. Thank you so very much.
God bless you, Mama. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna go home and watch you on YouTube right now.
Yes, honey.
The original
Watch
one,
the curvyfilmcritic.com. Yes.
You'll see that those guys didn't look that old. It wasn't as big a stretch.
I'm gonna shout you out on social media, Eddie. I promise you I'll watch it again and I'll tell you what I saw.
Well,
I'm gonna
social media.
Side by side.
Shout out to Arsenio, because I'm not on the social media.
I'll find you. Trust and believe.
I don't have
Trust and believe, brother. I will find you.
I don't have an Instagram and I don't have any of that stuff.
That's okay. I will find you.
Okay.
I will send him our transmissions, Carla.
Thank you, Arsenio. When I tell you, I finished that interview and I was cheesing from ear to ear. I couldn't stand myself. Let me just give a round robin thanks to Mr. Tim Story, Mr. Jermaine Fowler, Mr. Tracy Morgan, Miss Bella Murphy, Miss Akaili Love, Miss Nanzamo Umbata, Mr. Arsenio Hall, and Mr. Eddie Murphy for sitting down and talking to me. It made my year. It was a career high for me. I will never, ever forget it. And yes, Eddie Murphy, I will find you. I used to be a publicist. I know how to find folk. But in the meantime, we will have transmissions going through Mr. Arsenio Hall. And Arsenio follows me on all social media. He follows my the Curvy Critic. I think he might be watching now and he's just laying in the cut. But you guys, it was everything. And I had such a great time. Let me talk about Coming to America real quick. Coming to America is the sequel to the film of the same name. This one has the numeral 2 instead of 20, but it is we go back to Zamunda 30 years later. Akeem finds out that he has a son back in America. He treks back to Queens, New York, picks up his son, who is his apparent heir, brings him back to Zamunda, and he finds himself being in a situation where he's doing for his son what his mother and father had to do for him. Jermaine Fowler plays his son, Lavelle. He falls in love with a woman who is smart. She's capable. She doesn't color her life around what a man's opinion is of her or what a man can do for her. Very much how Lisa was in the first Coming to America. I love the way they approach women in this project. They make us smart. They make us capable. They make us able to stand up on our own 2 feet as individuals and not as arm candy. And I appreciated that. I appreciated them bringing back everything that we loved about the first one, the guys in the barbershop, the dance sequences they brought back. And they brought back a lot of people from the original. Sherry Headley comes back as Lisa. Garcelle Bouvet comes back as one of the women, the servant women that's throwing the roses. And it's just, it's just a fun, nostalgic look. The script, it's a little wonky here and there, but y'all, it's Coming to America. It's Eddie Murphy. Let's just have fun and enjoy it for what it is. I had a good time. They gave me a crown and a pillow that said Coming to America. I was there for all of it. And it's just, it's just fun. It's just fun. It's a fun family film, and it should be on your list for sure of things to watch. Everybody's going to have an opinion about it, but what I love about it is the fact that they really address women in a very specific way, a positive way, and for that, I can get behind it. This year marks the 50th anniversary. So we're going to talk about the Curvy Classic, and then I'm going to be out of here so I can run and do the Globes. But in the meantime, let me hit these winners of the Globes. Mark Ruffalo just won for I Know This Much Is True for an anthology series. I mentioned Catherine O'Hara earlier. She won for Best Actress TV, and Trial of the Chicago 7 won the Best Screenplay for Aaron Sorkin. That is all of these projects are streaming right now. You can see them if you choose to do so. The Nutty Professor is a film that was started 50 years ago by Jerry Lewis. And at the time, he played Julius Kelp in that 50-year-old version with Jerry Lewis. And before Jerry Lewis did the Nutty Professor, he was known as a sidekick to Dean Martin. Nobody was really taking him seriously. He wanted to break away from Dean Martin and make his own statement with filmmaking and producing and creating characters of his own ilk. And so he created this character of the Nutty Professor. More than 40 years later, he and Eddie Murphy teamed up and came up with the Black version of the Nutty Professor, which starred in the first version Jada Pinkett Smith, and in the second version it starred Janet Jackson. It is a comedic staple, whether you like the original one from 50 years ago or the two that Eddie Murphy did. It is a comedic staple. The original one is celebrating 50 years today. If you have not seen it, please find it online and stream it. And, Hercules had to, use that as the Curvy Critic Classic this week because we're watching Coming to America and we are talking about Eddie Murphy. So that brings us to the end of the show. And did y'all peep that knowledge that Eddie Murphy dropped about this was the first film that had Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones in the same picture? I know y'all peeped that because I sure did. And I also peeped that Arsenio Hall said that his very first intern was John Singleton. You never know where people start. Everybody got to start somewhere. So next week, y'all, I'm going to do more reviews, more interviews, more predictions for the awards season. I'll do a brief recap of the Golden Globes tonight. I will do a preview of the South by Southwest Film Festival because I will be attending that virtually. I will do a recap of the Women's Summit that I'm going to on March 6th. And this is Women's History Month as of tomorrow, which will be March 1st. And I'm going to do a recap of all of the female filmmakers and all of the females that I have talked to in film and highlight them on the Curvy Critic for the whole month of March, because some of these interviews, you guys have not seen them. You haven't caught it, with the exception of Michael B. and Brandon, who have been here practically for every single broadcast that I've done ever since I was over at Black Hollywood Live. So again, hey, Shang, if this is your first time joining me, I am Carla Renata, the Curvy Film Critic. You can catch me across all social media platforms at the Curvy Critic. You can catch the written reviews of anything that I talk about here on this podcast at thecurvyfilmcritic.com, and give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications so that you know whether I'm live, whether it's taped, so that you don't ever miss an episode of the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata right over here on YouTube. And of course, I'm always here doing reviews and talking to people above and below the line in the film industry. Thank you, Shane, Devin, Michael B, Dolores L. My boy Albert Lawrence was in the cut. Dolores Leach was in the cut. My boy Tony Vincent was in the cut. There were so many people that have joined me today that normally don't watch. I appreciate you. Shang, thank you so much. It was your first time joining. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. My brother's here. Thank you, bro, for giving me some support. And thank you, Devin. I think I'm amazing too. I'll take that. So until the next time, you guys, I will see you next week. Wash your hands, stay safe, stay inside, love, peace, and hair grease. And until the next time, deuces, baby.